Assalamualaikum and a good day everyone. So with me today, Muhammad Yusof. So today, all of you are with us in Pentas Barisan Nasional in 20 episode. Right, so today we have the first speaker. So I would like to invite Syafiq Fadli, Barisan Nasional Chief Coordinator of BN Comms. So please welcome for the first speaker.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam makmur Johor. I am Muhammad Syafiq Fadli. I'm currently lead petroleum engineer in one of the multinational companies in Malaysia. As a young leader, I would like to share with you the aspiration that I always share with everyone else about how we as a young generation should help to improve, to develop our nation today. As you all know, General Election 14 have changed the political landscape in Malaysia. For the first time, Barisan Nasional, a coalition that has been long serving the nation, has been toppled by Pakatan Harapan. It is a very sad and disappointment for us in Barisan Nasional, but at the same time, we learn a lot, and especially us young voters have learned a lot about how we should shape our future. When Pakatan Harapan took over this nation, they promised a lot of things, especially to young generations. They want to abolish PTPT and loans. They want to abolish the toll. They want to give a lot of things free for us. It is a dream comes true when it comes to Pakatan Harapan. We thought that our future can be brighter and brighter. But instead, if you see what happened for the past 22 months, are actually a miserable journey for all of us Malaysians. We see our economy has shrunk so significantly. Our GDP has dropped. Our foreign direct investment has dropped. We've lost jobs and we lost the capability to become a high-income nation, which have been a base or a fight by Barisan Nasional for so long. Barisan Nasional has shaped this country, has put some good plans for the future of Malaysia. If you can remember, when Datuk Najib introduced Transformation National TN50 for the vision of this country for the next 30 years after Wawasan 2020, we've been talking about our future and the next generation's future. But what happened when Pakatan Harapan took over? They are not just cancel all the plans, but they don't have any vision to offer us. Despite all the empty promises, at the end of the day, they've become a failed government. And we changed the government to Perikatan Nasional. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was leading the government together with Barisan Nasional. We hope that we have a light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately, as Malaysian, we again disappointed. Yes, of course, the nation is facing pandemic during that time, but remember, the whole world is facing the same issue. But why? The country like Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and many other Asian countries can still survive and receive a lot, huge, humongous amount of foreign direct investment to their country, but not Malaysia. It is simply because our investors have no confidence with the administration of Muhyiddin Yassin, which during that time declared the state of emergency. It is a very serious issue when we talk about state of emergency, because it shows to the investors especially that we as a nation cannot handle the pandemic. We as a nation is having difficulties handling the pandemic. And we as a nation are facing a lot of problems when it comes to managing our country. And that's why our investors have no confidence to come to Malaysia. Muhyiddin during that time actually borrowed a huge amount of money, billions of ringgit, to cater the need of the people. And thankfully, some of us receive what being called as bantuan sara hidup dalam package ransangan ekonomi. But that's not sufficient for us. We are talking about the future. We are talking about what can we do further? What can we do to help our young people to survive? What we can do to those who lost their jobs? What we can do to help our poor people to put foods on the table? Muhyiddin again has no vision. Because why? Because he came from the same coalition, Pakatan Harapan. He has the blood and DNA of Pakatan Harapan, which has no vision and no empathy for the people. And that's why Barisan Nasional feel that it is their responsibility, it is our responsibility to take over the country and to make sure that we can save Malaysia. And Alhamdulillah, last year, we managed to change our government again. We changed our Prime Minister. Dato Sri Ismail Sabri now is leading the government. And we can see a process of recovering, especially related to our economy. Our KDNK has grown, our GDP has grown, our FDI has grown. We have received a lot of investments and we managed to provide better opportunities for our young generation. And that's why it is important for us to understand, building a nation, choosing a government, it is not just about talking about dream, about vision, but it is more than that. It is about our determination. It is about our leadership. It is about our courage to help our people. And Barisan Nasional has proven that for the past 62 years when we manage this country. And for that reason, as a young professional, as young leader, I chose to be with Barisan Nasional. I see a lot of potentials in this party. I can see a lot of good leaders, good young leaders in the country, in this party. And I can see that we together can help to build better Malaysia. And I hope you guys as well think the same way. Johor has developed so much for the past 62 years. When Barisan Nasional managing this state, our GDP in Johor alone is the highest among all other states in Malaysia. The foreign direct investment in Johor is the highest. We managed to secure 30 billion ringgit, the highest foreign direct investment ever took by Malaysian, ever in the history. In Pengerang, we developed a hub for oil and gas. In Iskandar Puteri, it is so rapidly grow with a lot of potential for investments. And Johor has been for so long become the tiger of Malaysia, and one day, inshallah, will become the tiger of Asia. But what happened when Pakatan Harapan took over? The GDP, if I'm not mistaken, from 5.6% has dropped to only 2.7%. It is half from what we've achieved before. Our foreign direct investment has dropped to negative value. Our construction index has dropped to negative value. We have lost a lot of jobs. And Singapore is growing while Johor is moving backwards. And we need to help this state to recover. We have to help this state to make sure we can grow further, we can improve, we can grow the potentials that we have here. And there is no other party can help us other than Barisan Nasional. Barisan Nasional, before GE18, has planned a lot of things for Johor. One of the biggest projects that we announced for Johor is the high-speed rail. Maybe some of you cannot appreciate what is high-speed rail and how it can benefit the people of Johor. Let me tell you this. Before this, the journey from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur, the two capital cities of two big countries in Asia, will take about some 3 to 5 hours by driving. But when we complete HSR, the journey from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur will take only about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Which means, if I'm working in Kuala Lumpur, and at 2 o'clock I have a meeting in Singapore, I can leave my office at 12 o'clock and arrive there on time for a meeting and come back on the same day. That has opened up a huge opportunities among these two cities. People in Kuala Lumpur can do business with Singaporeans, and people in Singapore can do business with Malaysians in Kuala Lumpur in a very short period of time. We have shortened the distance, and we have shortened the communication between these two nations. And that is important for us to bring the opportunities, the capabilities, and all sort of things that currently in Singapore to our country. It is not just about the benefit for Kuala Lumpur. It is also about a huge benefit for Johorians. When Dato' Najib announced HSR, he wanted to make sure that half of the HSR will go and passing through the state of Johor. Half of that. Out of 300 kilometers length of HSR of the track, half of that, about 150 kilometers, are in Johor. What's that mean? You have 3 stations in Johor, one in Iskandar Puteri, one in Batu Pahat, and the other one in Muar. This will give opportunities for these 3 big cities in Johor to further develop. And once we have development, we have a new township, we have new businesses, we have new jobs, we have new economic growth. Everyone will benefit from this project. It is not just that. Remember, when we bring HSR, we bring technology, new technology here. We will never talk about high-speed rail before, but now we are talking about new technology, high-speed rail, which never exists in Malaysia yet. And for that reason, the government of Malaysia during that time not just wanted to have a long route in Malaysia, but at the same time wanted to make sure that the depot for train repair will be placed in Johor, which is Pontian. When we have that, imagine people like me, engineer, people like you guys, engineer, looking for further opportunities, looking for new skills, looking for better career in your life, can now have new experience being a technical expert in high-speed train. That is our vision during that time. That is what we wanted to give to people in Johor. That's what we are trying to achieve to further develop the potential that we have in Johor. But I think it is no luck for us and Malaysian. The people has decided, May 2018, people wanted to change the government, and we let that be. When Pakatan Harapan took over, they cancelled the project, and Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin confirmed that cancellation, and now in 2020, the current government has to pay some amount of Ringgit Malaysia, 320 million ringgit of compensation to government of Singapore. It is sad. It is such an disappointment. But we have to think about what can we do better for this nation? What can we do better for Johor? In the Johor state election recently, I think this is kind of like funny. When the same people who actually endorse and agrees to the cancellation of HSR, which is Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, when he was one of the minister in Pakatan Harapan's government, he is the one who agreed to the cancellation. And when he was the Prime Minister of Malaysia, he also agreed with the cancellation of the project. Now, just simply because of the election, just simply because of gaining the votes from the Johorians, he said that he wants to revive or reinstate back the project. It doesn't make sense. This is the kind of leader that we want to trust. This is the kind of leader that we want to hand over a state that huge potentials. Is this the kind of leader that we want to make sure that we can do a better job for our generation? No. But Barisan Nasional has committed. Because that was our idea, that was our vision, that what we wanted to do before. And we will try our best to reinstate, revive back the project, not just for the benefit of Malaysia, but especially for the benefit of the Johorian. That is one thing. Number two, one of the major projects as well is about RTS. The rapid transit system, just like in Kuala Lumpur, we have the MRT and LRT, sorry. It is about our people, Johorians, working in Singapore. We've given a thought about how we can further help them, assist them. When they want to work in Singapore, yes, we can understand that you guys are facing a lot of problems, especially in the morning and at night. I've heard a lot of my friends, Johorians, living in Johor Bahru, working in Singapore. They have to face like 2 hours of traffic jam. They have to queue about 2 hours in the immigration just to be there in Singapore to work. They have to wake up as early as 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready and then to go to work and come back as late as 1 or 2 o'clock at night. And I can understand that. And for that reason, we think about how we can further fasten the travel time from Johor Bahru to Singapore. Yes, some people said that, why not we just bring the job here? Syed Saddiq promised that instead of letting people to work in Singapore, why not we just bring all the jobs from Singapore in Malaysia so that our young generations can work here? That's probably one thing that we can think of. He promises that he can deliver 1 million jobs. But for the past 22 months, as Ministry of Sports and Youth, what he has delivered, an empty promise. Not a single job has been delivered in Malaysia. Because why? Because our economy has shrunk. We have no foreign direct investment. Our GDP has not been growing so much. And we have no potential. But yes, for the past how many years, Barisan Nasional has helped to further develop Johor and to make sure that we can create more job opportunities here, such as HSR, as I mentioned earlier, such as other projects, huge construction development, and other new township that we have created in Johor. But we have to also remember, it is a cautious decision by Johorians, especially young generation, to work in Singapore. Working abroad is not just about jobs. It is about building a career. I was once working abroad in United Arab Emirates. It is my cautious decision, not because we don't have jobs here, not because that we don't have enough pay here, but it is because I want to broaden my skills, my experience, my knowledge, getting together with the multinational companies, getting different projects, different spectrum, and we can understand that. Our young generations want new challenge. They want to see something abroad. And that's why they decided to work in Singapore. And why do we want to stop them? Instead of stopping people working in Singapore, we should help and assist them by reducing the time of traveling from Johor Bahru to Singapore. And for that reason, Barisan Nasional has proposed to have RTS. It's kind of LRT a train from Johor Bahru to Singapore so that people should not bike or motorcycle every day or using bus or other transport, but they can just ride on a train to go to work. And once they arrive Singapore, they can take MRT to go to their office. That was our vision during that time. But if you still remember, DAP opposed to that idea. They thought that they have better idea. What's that? They said we should build and construct a travelator, a walker later, some sort of things like that, as you've seen a lot in the airport. You imagine like people are cramping in Tambak Johor to get into the walker later and then go straight to Singapore. And I can't imagine what happened if we have a windy day or rainy day. And that was the idea of one of the big leader of DAP in Johor. Do you think that is feasible? Do you think that is futuristic? Do you think that is something that we would like to offer to our people? No. We have better idea. We have better vision, which is RTS. And that also has been cancelled by Kerajaan Pakatan Harapan. And remember, Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and a number of other Perikatan Nasional leaders were in the same coalition Pakatan Harapan. They are now in Perikatan Nasional and throwing a lot of promises to Johorians as part of their manifesto in Johor state election. But I beg to all of you, for the future of Johor, let not trust them again. Pakatan Harapan or Perikatan Nasional are the same people. They are from the same womb. They were the one who gave a lot of promises, empty promises during the GE14, 2018, and never deliver a single promise. And we should not give them another opportunity to destroy this state. And let us be together as Johorian and as Malaysian. The young generation should think about our future. 12 March 2022, it is not just about choosing a government, just about choosing a leader who you think or perceive as clean, as having good governance, as having high moral values. It is also about choosing a government that can govern, that have vision, that have leadership and capability to bring Johor to a better state. If you want to talk about good governance, I can guarantee you 22 months of Pakatan Harapan, nothing better than Barisan Nasional. If you want to talk about anti-corruption, how many leaders in Pakatan Harapan related to corruption cases? If you still recall, the bungalow case in Penang has not been sorted out. The tunnel case in Penang has not been sorted out. The 500,000 ringgit missing in-house, and many other projects which are related to Pakatan Harapan leaders are still not settled. So don't talk about good governance, don't talk about corruption, don't talk about high moral values, because they are the same. But we in Barisan Nasional has shown that we have changed a lot since 2018. Our leaders who are currently facing a court case, and let them be. They are not part of this Johor leadership. Instead, they openly say to the people that they don't want to get away from the case but facing in the court so that they can clear their name. And let that be. Let our justice system decide which one is wrong and which one is right. But the most important thing, number one, when they talk about good governance and high moral values, what happened to them? When they governed this nation, how many cases have been closed, have been denied, have been ignored? Not a single case by the leader of Pakatan Harapan have been to court. Why? If they want to talk about good governance, high moral values, they should at least go to court and clear their name in court. But no, they decided not to do that. But despite of going to court, they drop all the charges. And that's why you don't see cluster mahkamah in Pakatan Harapan, because there is no single cases. Every single cases have been dropped. Same goes to Perikatan Nasional. You remember the political frauds, as what people said. Jump from one party to another party because they've been pressured, forced. Otherwise, some of the big leader will actually open up their case. And for that reason, they decided to jump ship from one party to another party. But our Barisan Nasional, we want to be gentlemen. We will face the court and we will face the justice system because we trust our system. But let's put that aside. 12 March 2022 is about the future of Johor. It's about what we can do better for Johor. In Ikhtiar Barisan Nasional Johor, the manifesto for this state election, we are not just talking about how we can develop the economy of Johor, but we are talking specifically about orang muda Johor. We want to make sure that every single orang muda in Johor and people working abroad in Singapore will receive huge benefit for the next 5 years. Barisan Nasional has promised a lot of programs for orang muda. Unlike Pakatan Harapan, which we are not certain about what they want to do for orang muda Johor, and Perikatan Nasional, which promise only few small things, which have been so-called implemented by Barisan Nasional before, for example, like free water, which been implemented since 2010. There is no such new program promised by these two coalitions. But Barisan Nasional, we decided if you want to further your study as a student, so we will give you 500 ringgit if I'm not mistaken. After you study, if you want to get married, and then we give you another financial assistance. After you get married, you want to build a family, and then we also help you with the financial assistance. Not just that, we promise you to give a huge job opportunities in Johor. We also promise you that for the next 5 years, we will develop further to the north. We want to see that Batu Pahat will become an economic hub. We want to make sure that Muar will become an economic hub. We want to make sure that location in Kota Tinggi, in Mersing, will receive a huge benefit from the East Coast Economic Region. Those are all in our manifesto, which we call as Ikhtiar Barisan Nasional Johor. We have vision, we have plan, and we only want you to support us, to help us to deliver the plan and the vision for Johor. Inshallah, 12 March 2022, we will see that our young generation, the Johorian, orang muda Johor, and the whole Johor people, bangsa Johor, will make the right decision, not just for today, but also for the future of Johor. Let's work together. And inshallah, I have every single trust in all of you, my young fellow Johorians. Let's make our future brighter for not just us, but other generations as well. At least that we can tell the future generation that we are among the people who make history to help to save Johor, inshallah. With that, I think I've delivered my message to all of you. I have said what I wanted to say. Because as a young leader, as a young professional, I just would like to share with all of you how we as a young generation should think about our future. It is all about stability, and for that reason, we can have a brighter future. I'm Muhammad Syafiq Fadli, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the first speaker. So, next, I would like to invite Iman Nohizam, the Chief of Information for UMNO Siswa. So, please welcome for the second speaker.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and greetings to all my fellow Johorians. As you all know, we are facing the general election for the state of Johor. And it is the utmost importance for everyone to understand and heed the call of elections. To understand that the right party will bring this state either for success, or if it is the wrong party, it will lead to the failure of this state. To answer this question, you have to see the track record that has been given by past parties to this wonderful state. All parties in Malaysia has undoubtedly had the opportunity to try and maneuver the administration of this wonderful and economically strong state of Johor. We've seen Barisan Nasional maneuvering the state for almost 60 years. And we've seen Pakatan Harapan for merely 22 months. And we've seen the later on version of a combined state government between Barisan Nasional and a few other parties. However, the importance that we have to see and decide during the elections of PRN Johor, GE Johor, is regarding the matter of the future. We do not decide regarding on the past or even the present, but the importance lies in the future. And that is why Barisan Nasional has its own motto, being a stable future. A stable future meant by Barisan Nasional has not just arisen, the matter at hand has not just risen up just because of GE Johor. However, it has come to the attention of Barisan Nasional since the beginning of its time. Since Barisan Nasional was first ever incorporated into the government of Malaysia, stability and planning of the future has always been its main priority. And to you, the Johorians that has always been tired of commuting to and fro Singapore and Johor, the 200,000 people commuting every day for work or even for studies, these are the people that has to understand the importance of this election. The importance of how Barisan Nasional administers the state to ensure your welfare to be taken care of. When in fact, the developments that are promised by Barisan Nasional will definitely solve the problems that is in hand. Firstly, as you may have seen and understood, before the GE14, Malaysia or Barisan Nasional has promised the construction of high-speed rails from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. And in this time of age, Barisan Nasional has also promised and wants to bring upon the table to the people of Johor the rapid transit system as well, the RTS. And all of this is found in Barisan Nasional's manifesto called the Ikhtiar Barisan Nasional. So to understand this matter, you have to understand that promises brought by Barisan Nasional is not merely promises. Barisan Nasional, since the time and age of its beginnings, has always brought proof in its promises. Never have there been any promises not accounted for and not calculated for. Every promise, every effort is given with a calculation of achieving the matter at hand. And here this is as a proof that Barisan Nasional has always been giving promises that they can achieve, realistic promises. As you can see, before GE14, the General Election 14, Barisan Nasional has already prepared its own calculation regarding the promises or manifestos that they have given and they have accomplished before GE13, prior to GE14, and it has achieved 99% of success, 99% of accomplishment of the manifestos before GE14. So these, my fellow friends and families and people of Johor, you have to understand, a stable future comes from a stable party, comes from a stable administration. And in this, you have to also see that the Ikhtiar Barisan Nasional has many aspects. To be precise, it has 5 ikhtiars for you to understand. However, in this, I would like to emphasize on 2 ikhtiars. The first ikhtiar is on the kemajuan economy, and the second one is ikhtiar kedua, kesejahteraan rakyat. And in all of this, we can see that Barisan Nasional has never been giving any promises that no one can achieve. However, promises that is achievable and that has already been put in place. We have to understand that Barisan Nasional is committed in expediting the process of border reopening. This is to ensure that the people of Johor that has work, that has studied, that has matters at hand, that has matters to continue, and to ensure the longevity of its process to continue on without any disruptions to proceed. And this is a priority by Barisan Nasional. Furthermore, it is also a promise and an effort that Barisan Nasional has always been put in place, is that to facilitate investments into Johor through the Johor Economic, Tourism and Cultural Office, JETCO, in Singapore. How it works is, no matter how much we want to do this, it has to be very much related, aligned and communicated throughout the border, that we have to have our own office of JETCO in Singapore. And this will definitely and most proportionately expand and increase the investments that we can pull in. And furthermore, regarding the economic advancement, kemajuan economy, within the first ikhtiar is also to restructure Invest Johor as an institution to promote investments in Johor competently. This is to ensure that all investments are accounted for. They are known and they are put in place to the right place. They are put in place to ensure the right outcome. They are put in place to identify and ensure the right development for Johor itself. It is undeniable that Singapore and Johor has a very close relationship, and it needs diplomatic maturity to ensure that it goes on, to ensure that every matter can come to fruition of good possibilities. Every matter at hand can produce good outcomes for the people of Johor, because that is Barisan Nasional's importance. That is Barisan Nasional's priority. To further emphasize the point, in Johor itself, due to Barisan Nasional's effort throughout the 60 years of establishment, throughout the 60 years of administration of the state, Johor itself has its 3 economic development areas, the most development economic areas in a state, in Malaysia itself. The firstly being East Coast Economic Region, the ECER. The second is being Iskandar Regional Development Authority, IRDA. And the third being Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand Growth Triangle, IMT-GT. And all of this shows how much importance that Barisan Nasional puts into the economy of the people, into the economy of the state. Because with that, prosperity will come. With that, economy of the people of Johor will be taken care of. Welfare is a priority from Barisan Nasional. Moreover, I would like to bring a point and shine some light on ikhtiar too, to show that Barisan Nasional has not only been progressive, but also future thinking. In the second ikhtiar regarding the kesejahteraan rakyat, the prosperity of the people, the welfare of the people, they emphasize a point that no other party has touched upon, that no party puts on the limelight, that no party focuses upon, is the development of women. The Institute Wanita Johor will be founded for the empowerment of talent, leadership, and economy of women. This, for me, is an important aspect of the manifesto of ikhtiar Barisan Nasional to be understood. That Barisan Nasional is not looking only for today, but Barisan Nasional is looking for tomorrow, the future, for us, our children, and our grandchildren. And that matter, ladies and gentlemen, is what you have to understand. It's what Barisan Nasional has to offer, and it was what you have to look forward for. When we talk about the development of women, it has one goal only, and the goal is to empower them so that Malaysia can become as prosperous as much as it can be. Because only with equity of women and men working hand in hand for the prosperity of the state itself, and in the larger picture, the country, then, only then, can we proceed to become a developed country, to have the best prosperity for the people. Ladies and gentlemen, to understand why and how much hypocrisy that the opposition parties have, or even Perikatan Nasional has, of how Tan Sri Mahyudin Yassin has, the level of hypocrisy is on the level of unacceptable accommodation. We cannot accommodate this level of hypocrisy. During the times of Pakatan Harapan, Parti Pribumi Bersatu, PBBM, or we know as Bersatu, headed by Tan Sri Mahyudin Yassin itself, was in Pakatan Harapan. They were in Pakatan Harapan. All the decisions in Pakatan Harapan is from also, and responsibility also falls onto Tan Sri Mahyudin Yassin, as well as Parti Bersatu. And in there, the decision was to cancel off HSR, to cancel off the high-speed rail from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore that will bring prosperity to the people of Johor, especially. But now, we can see the 100% of level of hypocrisy in them, in Perikatan Nasional, in Tan Sri Mahyudin Yassin, former Pakatan Harapan, Bersatu, wanting to reenact the effort, the development of HSR. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you see the hypocrisy that we cannot accept to become our leader. How can we accept the hypocrisy of a person wanting to lead the state, wanting the development of a state to prosper, but even in his words, we cannot trust? So that I say, and that I hope that you understand that there are hypocrisies and hypocritical entities outside, especially Perikatan Nasional, Pakatan Harapan, and all other parties except Barisan Nasional. Ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that even Barisan Nasional has, to the minute detail of ensuring the promises being promised are delivered. As I mentioned earlier, the manifesto that was given by Barisan Nasional during the GE13 has its own calculations, has its own index, and we had our research based on that, and we identified that 99% of Barisan Nasional's manifesto was already accomplished before GE14. And we see in Pakatan Harapan, they did not even have a direction on establishing or ensuring that the manifesto given by them, the 10 janji 100 hari, to be delivered to the people. They even said that it is not a holy scripture, which means that we can disallow, we can disavow the matter. We don't have to accomplish what we have promised. That came from Pakatan Harapan, which Perikatan Nasional was part of it. And I hope you see through these lies, these hypocritical attitudes, and understand that Barisan Nasional has always and has in the past and will always be a party that emphasizes futuristic values, developments, and also good governance. Why I say that is because even in the past, during GE14, before GE14, all that has ever been done by Pakatan Harapan, parts of Pakatan Harapan now in Perikatan Nasional, was only to assassinate characters, only to attack on individuals, and only to attack on sentiments. While Barisan Nasional, for a fact, has never replied those statements, has never even cared for these petty comments, petty sentiments thrown upon them. But Barisan Nasional has always been focusing on the development of the people. When people say bad things about Barisan Nasional, we do not reply. But we say we want to give this development to the country, especially Johor. So that I say, ladies and gentlemen, understand and focus on what's true and focus on who really wants to give prosperity to Johor. So ladies and gentlemen, we even received suggestions from Pakatan Harapan's leadership on saying to make a walkalator from Johor to Singapore, while in fact that is impossible and ridiculous. You know the walkalators in the airports that you don't have to walk, you just stand on there and move? That is ridiculous and I don't know what else to say lah. In return, or in fact, the opposite of them, which is Barisan Nasional, promises a high-speed rail that would be giving convenience as well as prosperity, not to just the Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, but especially Johor, because the tracks run through Johor and we will have stations along Johor and we would have developments within all those stations. So to the people of Johor, before concluding my remark for today, remember who you are. You are the people of Johor. You are the people responsible for your state. Bangsa Johor adalah negeri Johor. When you think of development, you think of Barisan Nasional. When you think of prosperity for the people, you think Barisan Nasional. Go and look in the past. Go and look in the track records of Barisan Nasional. The only thing that the Barisan Nasional has given is prosperity, development, futuristic ideas, and the welfare of the people. So hear this. On 8th of March, on 12th of March, you go and vote. You send your postal votes. And you pangkah, you cross Barisan Nasional, Daching, so that you understand the state is in your hands. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Kestabilan masa depan. A stable future.
So thank you very much for the speech. So that's the end of our program today. So stay tuned with us at the Pentas Barisan Nasional for more from our speaker. Thank you very much, everyone.